Hey guys, if you want our help in setting up a personalized meal plan or a personalized training program, or both, we can actually do that online for you on our platform and get that done through website, Robin.
Yep. So jump on www.lntonline.co.nz, sign up. We'll have the questionnaire, fill that out. We'll take care of the rest.
Awesome.
So no, because Irish coffee is coffee and Baileys, is it? Or Irish cream?
No, I think didn't it have whiskey?
Does it?
Whiskey and cream or something? Maybe Baileys. Maybe it does have Baileys, or is that something else?
We need to ask our Irish person.
We need intercom. We'll give them a call on the podcast. Try to grab hold of them.
Interpol. All right.
Welcome to the L&T podcast. It's a lifestyle. Robin and I are back at it again.
I'm looking forward to this topic though.
Yeah.
Big time, because man, we get asked this a lot. Like, we've got to be breaking different myths and fallacies that's still common in today's society. Good example?
Yeah, they're never ending. Like, you can target fat loss in different areas around your body.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Well, what's on our list? Our list?
Yeah, we're going to talk about things like, let's have a look what we've got. Cardio makes you lose fat more than strength training. That's the first one. Then we've got training fasted helps you lose weight or lose fat. What else? Carbs make you gain weight, and carbs are bad for you, which we actually covered a little bit about on our initial podcast. You have to train 6 to 7 days a week in order to get optimal results. And each training session should last 4 hours minimum. We've got, if you are not sore enough, if you're not sore the next day, you didn't train hard enough. That's also a common one we get quite a bit. You need to eat a shit ton of protein in order to maximize muscle gain. So make sure you're having 250 to 300 grams of protein a day, please.
No, that's just for breakfast.
What is that, 12 eggs? More lifting. This is for the female audience. More lifting makes you bulky and too big. Stay away from weights, woman. Stay away. You're going to turn into a female Arnold.
I wish I could turn into a female Arnold. I'd have such nice thick shoulders.
This is a good one. This is a big one. I've heard this week, actually. Training after a big night out helps you burn the alcohol and sweat the alcohol off. And the final myth is the one we mentioned earlier, was you can target fat loss areas in and around your body. That would be amazing. But welcome, everyone. And I hope for you watching from Auckland or anywhere from the North Island here in New Zealand are keeping safe from the not so summery weather we've been getting from Cyclone Gabriella.
Yep. Stay indoors.
Yeah, stay indoors. Just shoot some podcasts. Be safe. Without further ado, should we start with the first myth, which was cardio makes you lose fat or lose weight quicker or more efficiently than strength training or gym resistance training in the gym.
I guess it does. Because if you do cardio training for 2 hours, and I weigh myself before that cardio session, let's say at 86 kgs, I do 3 hours of treadmill running as an example, or just going for a general run, and I weigh in at 82 kgs post run or cardio work,
Yeah.
I have lost weight. So in theory, this is true. However, most people that we work with want to lose body fat. So it's very, very different between weight loss and fat loss. So that's how I'd like to open this
That's
conversation.
correct. That is correct. And look, that's not to say that cardio does not make you lose or burn fat, I guess, or burn calories. It does, but I think a simplistic way to think about it is that cardio helps you burn calories. That's correct. But resistance training or strength training helps you improve and increase your metabolism. Okay. So if you were to measure calories lost in a high intensity cardio session and a high intensity weightlifting or resistance training session, yes, maybe during that actual session, you're burning more calories during the cardio session. But throughout the day after resistance training, your metabolism shoots up. So you're going to be burning more calories throughout the day than you would normally. So if you look at it in a 24-hour span, it does pretty much even out in the future. If not, you'll probably be burning a bit more calories with resistance training.
Well, that's why you get your bodybuilders, right? As an example, somebody that has a lot of muscle mass, that they have a higher fat burning potential over a 24-hour cycle because of the lean tissue that they actually hold. So that's why it's unfair when you get bodybuilders saying, oh, I can consume, let's just say 5,000 calories a day, when their lean body mass may be substantially higher than the normal person.
Exactly.
But that does hold some truth. So the more lean tissue you can promote and put on, then during the day, like Marvin said, you're going to be burning more and more fat.
That's correct. And by lean tissue, what Robin means is basically skeletal muscle or muscle tissue. Okay. So this is a generalized rule of thumb, and it does vary upon different individuals. But for every 2.75 kgs of pure muscle that you put onto your body, you burn an extra 300 calories for doing nothing. You just being you, boo. And you burning 300 calories extra. So it does deviate that equation, it could, depending on gender, age, and many, many other things, genetic predispositions and how your metabolism is in the first place. But that's quite a lot. 300 calories for just sitting down. There goes Jet's not enjoying that wind.
Quiet, Jet.
He's having a
Dog.
Yeah, I think he's battling it out with a dog 6 times the size again. Yeah, but it's just
He's a menace.
Right? But yeah. So I think if you're looking, if fat loss is your goal, combine the two, combine them both. It's like I remember once, Robin, you said it's like Batman and Robin. You know, you've got to have both of them together to work together to accomplish a particular goal. So resistance training teamed up with some sort of cardiorespiratory health training, you're going to get optimal results. Not just for fat loss, better heart health, better cardiovascular health, better vitality, better everything, really. So yeah, if you guys are, those of you who are worried about or wanting to optimize fat loss, get into the gym or get into some resistance training.
Yeah, I'd like to make a point that it was actually by Charles Poliquin. He always says you don't want to be a skinny version of your fat self. And what he meant by that was, yes, you can, let's just say you do 12 weeks of just pure aerobic work or cardiovascular work without doing any muscular resistance work. You will be a smaller version, but in terms of body fat, potentially body composition will be quite skinny fat or flabby. I don't want to put it that way, but that's the case. Mm-hmm. So that's where the resistance training in terms of like shaping and I guess the term toning would play its role and benefit. Yeah, for changing body composition and improving or decreasing fat.
That's a nice point you raised, because there's fat loss, but then again there's composition change, right? So if you're just doing cardio alone and your goal is to lose fat, you'll become skinny and flabby. Basically, your muscles are not going to be toned. You're not going to have that appearance that looks like, oh man, they look firm, they look nice. So if you team it up with resistance training, your composition changes. So you're not only losing fat, but you're also gaining some muscle to replace that fat with, and it just gives you so much more of an athletic physique. Away from the health standards we looked at, it's aesthetics as well. You're going to look a lot better and more, I guess, have that sort of athletic physique, or bikini kind of, or beach body physique.
Well, all the physiques that normally like people show us, or if Marvin and I ask, is there a picture or someone that you have in mind that you would like your body to represent as an example? 10 times out of 10, if you actually see what these people do in training, is the mix between your resistance training and your cardio training. So it's been proven time and time again.
Yeah, no one we've asked to show us what you want to look like, or who do you look up to as a particular fitness model or a model who looks amazing. No one shows us a stick figure.
Well, if you just take the different sports disciplines into consideration, if we use that as a benchmark, generally we don't get people saying, I want to look like a marathon runner, which I'm not disrespecting, because that is an unbelievable, amazing sport.
And that's a discipline on its own.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Kudos to them, fantastic. But if we're just looking at their body composition in terms of like fat loss, they are very, very light and don't hold much muscle density either. And the reason is they need to be extremely light for their sport. So if we look at their types of training, which is cardiovascular based, and majority of it, that's all they're doing, unless it's strength-based work, maybe for prehab/rehab work, but not actually intentionally putting on muscle tissue. If we look at them, that's a different physique. Where if you look at other sports, let's just say most Olympians that do some form of power strength training along their discipline, which is cardiovascular based, then that's the physique that most people are wanting to go for.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah. So don't get it twisted, people. Whatever your goal is in terms of fitness, and whether it's to do with health, whether it's to do with looks, or whether it's to do with performance, for most performance sports, we're thinking a mixture of both is very, very important, and they do. It's needed to complement each other in terms to get optimal health, performance, and aesthetics as well. Okay, so the next one, Robin, I've got for you is, you'll love this one, is training fasted helps you lose fat. That's a myth of the times, that one. It's been going on for such a long time. And it's funny because there's a lot of research on it now, but still people say that's the go. If you train fasted, and the theory of it is you wake up, you haven't consumed any calories.
Yeah.
So because you haven't consumed calories, your body's going to start seeking fat to burn, so you lose more fat.
Yeah, it's a concept that has been around for a very long time. And I guess if we were saying common sense is the key indicator, then that would hold true. However, the literature to date has indicated that if you are doing any form of training fasted, yes, for that moment, you are burning more fat. However, later on in the afternoon, that actually decreases.
Yeah.
Vice versa, if Marvin and I were to train first thing in the morning and we actually prepared a meal and had our breakfast and then trained, for that moment, we will be producing a lot less fat burning potentiation. However, later on in the day, we would be burning more fat. So in a 24-hour day, it becomes a net surplus of absolutely nothing. So basically, if you want to train fasted because you feel better on a lighter stomach, then go for it. However, in some cases, if you prefer to eat in the morning before you train because you perform better, then do that. So either way, don't get into a biased approach to do one or the other. Do what feels better for you, and keep in mind that you want to eat to perform really well. So if you're not training and performing really well in the gym on a fasted approach, then try eating and then see how you feel. And then long term, like Marvin was saying before, with the resistance training, if you're building muscle, you're going to have long-term fat burning effects. And when we mean long-term, we're like, this can take years. So it's not a short-term thing. So it's years. So choose what you prefer to do for your own personal performance.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I will just add, there is a little bit of evidence in terms of protein synthesis and protein degradation. And if you are training fasted and your glycogen stores are depleted, sometimes, and it's very little minimal effect, it's about 5%. That's why it's not really that significant. But you can limit protein synthesis and production because your body doesn't have enough energy, and it's kind of desperate to try to shift energy around to produce that. But that's quite a minimal response. So if you do want to train fasted and you're not an elite athlete, that's fine also. But like Robin said, have performance in mind as well. You don't want to go to the gym and you're training, and after 30 minutes you're kind of feeling a little bit depleted and tired and you can't get the most out of your workout. And the opposite is also true. If you've got a full stomach and you really can't lift and you're not having a good time in the gym, then definitely either drop that meal, or if you don't want to have a breakfast, have a small snack, or make sure you stay hydrated and hit the gym. So do what works for you. Training fasted is not beneficial if you compare it with training non-fasted. There's no real significant difference there. So don't stress about it too much. Just rock up to the gym. Just be consistent.
Yep.
That's what's going to get you the results. Okay, next one. Myth number 3. Carbs make you gain weight. How many times do you hear it, man? Like, oh man, I've over the summer I've gained 3-4 kgs. I need to lay off the carbs. The first thing you say, there is, and I guess you can say there is a little bit of truth in that, and there's a little bit of absolute myth in that as well. And that is being the types of carbs that people misunderstand, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I need to if you want to say I need to lay off the sugar and refined carbohydrates, yes, you definitely need to do that if you want to lay off the weights. Lay off the fat and drop weight. But in terms of complex carbohydrates rich in fiber, carbohydrate sources rich in fiber, absolutely not. If anything, they will help you lose weight. Okay, and any fiber makes you feel full for longer, so you're not going to want to consume as many calories throughout the day. So yeah, carbs do not make you gain weight. What makes you gain weight, Robin?
Well, it's anything in excess. So we need to clarify that. So
That's it.
if you're eating anything in excess, it's very common knowledge now. If you're eating in what's so-called surplus, then yes, you're going to be putting on weight, putting on fat.
Yeah.
And initially, for those people that are listening to this and be like, well, okay, cool, I'm going to eat some carbohydrates. Keep in mind, a benefit for cellular hydration is that for every 1 gram of carb that you do consume that's stored energy for later use to survive, you can have 3 parts water. So don't be too concerned. There's a big difference between, like we said before, previously mentioned, between weight gain and fat gain. It's very, very different. But you will find that with the carbohydrates, you're not going to be putting on fat as long as you're eating within your calories. That's been calculated from Marvin and myself to suit you for maintenance, so your body weight will stay the same. Or if you need a body weight reduction, we can still get people extremely cut off eating carbohydrates and performing really, really well. So there's a big difference there. Don't be scared of carbohydrates. Like Marvin already said, there's too many nutrients, and that's including fructose. where majority of fructose is uptaken in the liver and the brain anyway for energy. So don't be scared of fructose either from fruit.
From fruit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's the yeah. So
instead of the muffin,
yeah.
eat an apple.
Yeah. So it's,
Instead of fizzy drink, just have water. So just think about what carbohydrates you're consuming, and if there's a better alternative, and when I mean better alternative, what's more nutrient dense, like Marvin said before, carbohydrate, see if you can swap it out with that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And
Yeah.
and yeah, to give you more examples of carbohydrates, guys, it's good carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. That's your whole grain pastas. That is your brown rice or black rice. That is your
Kumara.
your kumara, your potatoes, your
Delicious.
fruits, your vegetables, your legumes, which are also rich in protein. So, yeah, I guess a simple enough rule of thumb is if it does contain some sort of fiber, it's generally not refined, because refined carbohydrates are stripped away from that fiber. So, yeah, all that sort of stuff, same as fruits and vegetables. Nuts and seeds, also great. Any grains, buckwheat, all that fancy stuff, quinoa, great carbohydrate sources, and they will not make you gain weight. You might be holding a little bit more water, which can freak some people out, but not fat at all. Okay, so the equation of fat loss is simple. It's calories in, calories out. And if you hear anything on social media or anywhere on the internet that has given you the special thing that's a little bit different than that equation, then it's too good to be true. Okay, if there's advertisements of a specific food or a food source that is going to increase fat loss or help you burn fat and shed it away, it's too good to be true. Otherwise, everyone will be eating grapefruit seeds or whatever it might be that you find discovered.
apple cider
Scientists have
vinegar.
discovered the Ugandan seed of a tropical plant has been shedding fat off the stomach area by now. It don't work. Don't work.
Particularly if it's in capsule form. No.
Yeah. So yeah, keep it simple. Have your complex carbohydrates. Stay away from refined carbohydrates. That's what gives you calorie dense and makes you gain weight. Okay. Number 4, myth number four. You have to train 6 to 7 days a week to get results. Okay, and preferably being 3-hour sessions every single day.
Okay, if we can clarify. Okay, if you're an Olympian or you represent your nation at a sport, maybe. But Marvin and myself, we're not talking about that. We're talking about more the body composition side, the fat loss side, okay?
And health as well.
And
health in general.
And health.
Yeah.
So, very bluntly, no, that is not the case. So, there's factors that you have to consider. Okay, first of all, is your sleep regulated well? Is your stress regulated well? Is your nutrition on point? And then you can look at like the physical output. So, if you have all your ducks in a row, you could probably get away with 2 to 3 times, probably even 2 times. If you have your sleep, stress, and nutrition in place, you can train twice a week and still get a healthy, good looking, whatever that looks for you, physique. So no, you don't have to put that much amount of work in for fat loss and body composition change for the average person. We're not talking about Olympians like Marvin. Okay.
Thanks for that. Well, I appreciate that compliment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That one hit home.
That's because you're on that Uganda seed.
I'm on that Uganda seed.
That Uganda good seed.
And to add on top of that, in terms of that 6-7 days a week training, is you have to think about quantity and quality of your trainings, right? If your quality, who's programming your training sessions? Okay, has someone had a look at your form? Has the correct form been demonstrated for you to perform the exercises? If you're heading to the gym, I would much rather this. Someone who's got a structured program, knows how to execute each exercise, puts their phone away when they're in the gym and they're straight focused on that exercise and focusing on activating the muscles that need to be activated and doing the right thing. And they're having 3 1-hour sessions a week, as opposed to someone who gyms with 4 or 5 other friends 6, 7 days a week, all right, checking their phone, staying in the gym for 2 hours plus, and having a half-assed workout exercise program, doing things without the correct technique or form, and not isolating, not progressive overloading. I mean, slowly seeing progress and increasing the weights week in, week out, and having a sort of a structure in your program. I would much rather prefer, and I would actually put my money in, the person who's training 3 days a week, 1-hour sessions, in terms of getting better results within a span of 6 months or 12 months time. Okay, so quality is so important, so effective. If you zone in that hour, if you're a busy person, okay, a mother, a dad, or if you're a university student, and there's things that get in the way, you can make time. If you can make 3 hours a week, full on zoned in training, believe me, you will get amazing, phenomenal results. Okay, much more than someone who's just kind of floating about, goes to the gym 6, 7 times just so he can post on social media how active he is. And they're like, man, Henry's hitting the gym 14 times a week. What's going on?
But Henry looks the same as last year.
Why is that stomach still there?
That is train with intention.
Henry,
have purpose, have meaning. Don't be Henry.
Don't be Henry.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to get Henry onto that Ugandan seed.
Yeah, don't get stressed if you're not making the 5, 6 times a week to the gym.
Yeah, do not stress about that, guys.
Focus on the other elements you have full control over that's going to contribute to better health outcomes and better physique changes.
Very true, very true. And don't be, if you're someone starting out and you get that sort of stuff, and social media, you always see like, oh, you got to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning and, you know, be a morning person all of a sudden, forget your circadian rhythm, and you got to train 6 times a day to get these results. And sometimes it can be off-putting for some people, you know? So if you want to start small and just be focused 2 days a week and just have that program laid out, get some advice from a health professional like ourselves, okay? Yep. So we can structure.
Yep.
Oh, that was I'm telling you, man, that ChatGPT AI shit is scaring me now.
Oh my goodness, it's all around us.
But anyway, that's the thing. So start small and do not be off-put by thinking that you need to go to the gym that many times a week to get results. Myth number 5, Robin. If you are not sore the next day, then you did not train hard enough.
Man, if I'm not sore the next day, it means my body has adapted and I'm an athlete.
Man, I'm thanking the Lord when I wake up the next day and my glutes are not on fire.
Okay, so this recently happened. So my mate, Artie, we had Monday off.
Shout out, Artie.
I think it was Auckland anniversary weekend. We had Monday off and he said, oh, let's train legs together. I was like, sure, no problem. So I ended up doing his program, which we designed. And it was extremely challenging because I wasn't used to the movements. He was in week 3, so his weights had already titrated upwards on a slow incline. And some complex movements which required a lot of stabilization. And so I'm trying to keep up with him, considering he's 10 years older than me and just keeps in good shape. Anyway, I did his program, did probably about 5 to 10% more in terms of weight. I was feeling quite good, moving relatively well. Anyway, I messaged him 2 days later. I'm still in significant pain. And when I mean significant pain, I'm talking about getting on and off this seat, this couch right here. He basically texts me back and goes, you effing ... So do you have to be sore to get any benefit? No. That's intramuscular inflammation where my body is just breaking itself down, cannot repair fast enough.
Absolutely.
So that is a myth where if I was better conditioned, it wouldn't be sore. I'll be able to back it up 4 or 5 days later, push more because basically my body has adapted, laid down more muscle, strengthened those bonds, and allow me to perform better, more like an Olympian.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And look, there are different training programs, because we have to specify it's law of adaptation, right? What that pain is that you feel the next day is what we coin DOMS, right? Or delayed onset muscle soreness, okay? Which is basically micro tears or damage in your skeletal muscles, okay, in a way for your muscles it's basically damaging. Every time we train, we damage our muscles, and then in hopes that we get correct nutrition and sleep so that they grow the next 7 or 8 days. And that's how we progress, right? But with adaptation, if we are doing the same program continuously, you're actually not meant to feel sore. And it's actually, if you're constantly feeling sore after every single program, there might be something going on that might not be such a positive thing, So it's, yes, whenever we initiate a new program and the movements are quite new to the athlete or to the client, or they haven't done them in a long time, yes, you're going to get sore. And that is a normal general law of adaptation. Once your muscles adapt to that particular move, and saying you come in 5 days later and apply those same movements, we don't generally expect you to get sore, maybe a lot less sore. And that does not mean that that particular program was less effective than the one you did 5 days before. Not at all. That just means your muscles are adapting to the particular movements so that they don't give you more pain. But in terms of results and growth, it's still optimal, still quite good.
Well, a good example is those people that may be on enhancements.
Yeah.
Which me and Marvin, if people want to take enhancements like steroids, so be it. I think it's pretty cool to see what people can do on them. I find it fascinating. Our personal philosophy is that we won't do it just for ourselves. We like to see where we can take our bodies naturally.
Yeah.
But the reason why I raise this is that can act as an enhancement for actual recovery. So a lot of people that are on steroids, yes, it will get you stronger, increasing testosterone. There's other physiological processes that are occurring, but in terms of recovery, you can back up your training.
Yeah.
And that's where you actually get most of your enhancement. So yeah, if you're recovering fast and not getting sore, that's good. You're adapting really well, and you should be proud of that. Not the one that's, I'm always sore. We would say seek a health professional, get checked up.
Yeah.
I don't know. You may have diabetes. I'm not too sure. I'm only speculating. Don't take my word for it. I don't know you, but just make sure you're at the peak of your own personal health, and you shouldn't be getting sore.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with not every single gym session you have should be annihilation. Absolutely not. There's not. The go hard or go home, or no pain, no gain has a place. Okay. Sometimes you will need to push, and it's a lot of mental, you're going to have a lot of mental barriers, and it's good to break those every now and then. But doing it week in, week out, you're actually getting negative gains, and you'll start to plummet down. There's an interesting curve, which we'll actually put up so you can have a look. And it's important to, once you apply a training stimulus, that curve slightly dips down, meaning that you've caused some muscle damage. And throughout time frame, you go throughout the week, and then you start to make improvements and adaptations, and that skeletal muscles, those tendons, joints, and ligaments start to improve and become stronger. And that point at the top is when you should apply the next stimulus for that muscle group, at least. And that's when you get slight dip again and gain. All right. But if you apply a stimulus, and you'll dip down, and then you apply another stimulus there, and you keep dipping down, you can see what's going to happen. You're going to get negative returns on what you're doing, okay? So very, very important not to absolutely kill yourself in the gym day in, day out. You're going to reverse the process there, and it's not beneficial at all, okay? That being said as well, for some particular programs with athletes, or for anyone who is in the middle of a sports season, whether you're playing whatever sport it may be, with those athletes or clients, we actually do not want them to be very sore the next day. And so we have to structure and figure out where their maximum 1 RMs, 1 repetition maximum lifts are, and drop them down significantly, maybe down to 65 to 70% of their max, and train them there throughout the season. Because when you're in a season, injury mitigation is critical and becomes very, very important. So we've got to be very aware. And sometimes I'll get athletes coming during the season. I'll be like, "How was your training?" And they're like, "I'm sore as hell." And that's when I know, I was like, "Man, I need to drop down the weights a little bit, because that's not good." They've got a game coming up in 2-3 days time where they might not be performing optimally. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you have a preference or you're playing during a season in a particular sport, you don't go hard or go home every single training session. Absolutely not. The plan is, it's a longevity game. You want to perform optimally throughout the whole season.
Yep.
Myth number 6, I think we're up to. Or maybe, 6. Okay. You need to eat more protein to build muscle. Okay. Now, general rule of thumb, that is true to an extent. For those of you who are eating, going to a farm and stripping the feathers out of 6 chickens and eating them then and there, it's not ideal, and you're not doing much for yourself. Why is that, Robin?
Yeah, there's specific calculations for each individual's lean body mass, which Marvin and I do when we're working with people and developing nutritional regimes. Because in excess protein basically is going to be dismissed from the body anyway. There's only so much you can utilize, and it's actually required to build muscle. Yeah. And if we go back to what Marvin and I already discussed about carbohydrates, if you're having adequate food from other nutrients, that's going to lead to protein sparing anyway and diminish protein breakdown. So it's harder on the body to break down copious amounts of protein as well, having inadequate, obviously, systems in the gut. So being able to break it down and utilize it. So no, you don't need copious amounts of protein to build muscle.
That's correct. That's correct. And different body sizes and also age and gender kind of regulates how much protein you can uptake, I guess. But the rule of thumb is when you're consuming food, that food has a specific time frame in which it can travel through the intestines, right? And that's the window in which the protein can be absorbed and taken up to the liver where it can be processed, right? So it's got a time frame in which it can cross through and that protein can be extracted, all right? And there's a significant speed at which this has been done in, right? So general rule of thumb for a gen pop, I guess if you say like a 70 kg male, it would be probably around 30-35 grams of protein per sitting, okay? There is interesting studies done directly after workout. He's off at it again now.
He's just getting in his aerobic training now.
Yeah, there have been studies done particularly directly after a workout, that specific window where your body can be hungry for protein synthesis to occur. You can absorb possibly 10 grams more if you're lucky. And some people can absorb a little bit more. But if you're having a meal with 70, 80, 90 grams of protein per sitting, I guarantee you half of that is getting lost and not being utilized at all, So, yeah, and it also depends on the amount of training you're putting in. That's also important to point out. If you're hardly doing any training and expecting to get muscle gain from 300 grams of protein a day, then you're dreaming.
I'd just say work with a professional. Get your calculations done, because there is good evidence in terms of how much protein requirement is needed for each individual based on fat mass and lean body mass. So save the guesswork.
That's correct. And the measurements should be taken not on body weight, but on lean body mass.
Oh, jeez. If you're 130 kgs, 40% body fat, and you base it on body weight,
exactly.
They'd be having, 300?
Yeah, because you'll be doubling
grams.
it. Like a lot of, forums, in online forums, they, double it or sometimes 2.5 your body weight. You're feeding the protein. You're trying to feed the protein specifically to your lean body mass. I don't want to give my fat any protein. It's not going to do anything for it, yes, you need protein to run bodily systems because of the amino acids are essential for that. But take the measurements of your lean body mass. You know, if I weigh 80 kgs and I am, what do you reckon, Robin? 78% lean body mass. I'm gonna base it on my 78 kgs.
Are you just indicating that? What did you say? 78%.
78 kgs out of the 80 kgs.
Of lean body mass. Here we go.
Oh my God. But no, that's an important calculation to measure. So yeah, you can go 2 times your lean body mass if you're training significantly well and efficiently, or maybe slightly higher than 2. You can go up to 3 depending how you're training. But please do the measurements of your lean body mass. That's a nice tip.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, do not need to overshoot more than that. Otherwise, it goes to waste. Now, this is quite a good one because we hear it all the time. You know, we don't go through a month without hearing it, whether it's online or face-to-face clients. And it's more lifting makes you bulky and too big. And you get and we're targeting specifically females in this because most guys want to get too big. But yeah, I don't know whether it's social media that puts images of particular bodybuilders and things like that, or females. They're just worried that as soon as they touch a dumbbell, they're just gonna go, boom, Popeye.
Yeah.
Just explode. And
look too muscular or masculine.
Yeah.
Which we know, Marvin and myself know how much work it takes to even put on a slither of lean muscular tissue.
And we've got testosterone.
And yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess simply put, females do not have the hormonal makeup to blow up and get absolutely huge.
Not as fast as it's perceived to be.
Absolutely.
So we do, Marv and I, work both with the strength conditioning side and nutritional and the physio side with some high performance elite athletes. And these women, I guess you would say muscular, but not manly.
Even then.
So just looking muscular.
Yeah.
But the amount of work, me and Marvin, we're talking about 5+ years of consistent, very consistent training.
Structured, programmed work.
Yeah.
And specific to their sport. That's important as well. You know, we deal with powerlifters, for example. So their training as they're lifting some really, really heavy weight and quite consistently. So yeah, over 5 to 7 years time.
Ages.
Yeah, without any steroids, you can get quite muscular, and for some women that might not be desirable. Okay, and some men as well, I guess. But yeah, in terms of just what's also important with that equation is it's not just the training itself. You can actually train, if you're a female and you're scared of getting too big, you can actually still train 6 days a week efficiently with a program and not be on a calorie surplus. And you'll look lean and you know, and have the right curves in all the right places without worrying that you might be getting too big, okay? Because if you're not in a caloric surplus, there's only so much size you can actually put on because you're not really, you know, aiding your body or giving it that nutrition it needs to grow and to explode, okay? So first of all, you don't have the hormonal makeup to get huge. Second of all, if you train consistently for 7 years, you might, and you can just stop training for 6 months and then you'll lose it all. Or not all, but and then also so it takes a lot of time.
And just don't eat 5,000 calories a day.
And don't eat in a surplus. That's the third point.
I'd like to make note I can appreciate the new age bikini models or fitness professionals because they are unbelievably strong. So even last year,
training.
Jen was showing me a few videos last year about different bikini models that are training, and I can appreciate what they were doing. So 1 rep max squatting, 140 kgs at a frame of 60 kgs, or hip thrusting, 150, 160 kgs for sets of multiple reps. at the same body weight of 60 kgs, doing chin-ups, 12 reps. These are a lot of the stuff that guys can't even do, and yet these ladies are a lot leaner, and I would say sculpted and well-toned.
Yeah. And they're not muscly and
no
veiny at all.
way.
They just
No
they
way.
look great. They look amazing. They're in amazing shape, you know.
Yeah.
And they're basically all the fitness models you follow on Instagram, you know. They're doing all that sort of training. So don't be afraid. And especially and it's usually we hear it from women who are starting up, right? So definitely don't be afraid of that because it's
of all ages.
Of any age, right? You will reap the rewards, reap the benefits of that, and
the outcomes will be is that you'll literally feel stronger. You'll be able to pick up heaps of shopping bags if you're going shoe shopping or bag shopping. Playing with the kids, you'll feel better. You're going to have better joint stability, so better integrity of your ligaments and tendons. You will literally feel more empowered. And the reason why I say this is that Marvin and I have worked with a lot of amazing women, and they say, I literally feel more empowered. They feel stronger.
Yeah.
So literally, and I guess, I don't know, emotionally, spiritually, they feel it.
yeah.
So that's the benefit that you're going to get from lifting heavy, and you will not get bulky.
Yeah. So pick up some weights. Don't be scared of picking up weights and train. And if you enjoy cardio and cardio is your thing, that's fantastic. That is awesome. And keep doing that. But even doing a little bit of resistance training will aid your cardio, will actually complement it. Okay. So, if your cardio is your thing, you like your HIIT, you like your running, you like whatever it is that you do, swimming, doing 1 to 2 resistance training sessions a week, that's only going to elevate you to that next level. Not just in terms of health and performance, but also in terms of looks. Okay.
Yeah. That's where you're going to get your sculpting and your toning, isn't it?
And that's when you're
shape.
really that's gonna separate you from the rest for sure, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, what number are we on? How many myths do we have? 1,
9?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is the 8th one. And this is also a common one we hear. Don't want to do any shout outs. But training after a big night out helps you burn or sweat the alcohol away.
Oh, that shout outs to a lot of people.
You hear it so much. Okay, so you hear it like, oh man, I like to just, get a sweat on, just to sweat it all out, First things first, it's impossible for your sweat glands to take out the alcohol. It's impossible. It just doesn't happen. Okay, it's not extracted. That's not how it's processed.
Unless your liver was on the outside of your skin.
It's processed in the liver. That's where the alcohol breaks down to acetaldehyde, and the acetaldehyde breaks down to acetate. Doesn't happen. You can't sweat it out. It's impossible. Okay. I will say the reason why maybe you might be feeling better after a sweat session is you might be sweating some other toxins out, and 2, whenever we train, you increase norepinephrine. Okay, that shoots up. And there is a little bit of research, tiny bit of research, to show that norepinephrine helps break down acetaldehyde at a quicker rate. So you might be aiding the liver at processing the alcohol a tiny bit better. And when I say a little bit of research, it's one to 2 research papers I've looked at that show that. So, and one of the papers actually didn't just look at exercise; it looked at ice baths and showers, because ice baths also spike up norepinephrine, and which increases, I think, alcohol processing in your liver.
I guess in addition that, if you're waking up, let's just say 7 a.m. and you decide to go to the gym, basic physiology is that you're going to be uptaking more oxygen, which will help feed the liver to go through its processing to get rid of the nonsense that you've just fed it with. And an additional bonus of that is that leading to sweat, dehydration, making you drink more water to help with the same flushing mechanism of the same physiological processes. So I guess me and Marvin are trying to say here is don't kid yourself.
Yeah, don't kid yourself.
You're not going to sweat it out. You've already done the damage. that night's been. Just enjoy the next day, move on with life, get back onto your training, nutritional regime, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. I heard a nice quote on social media the other day. I can't quite remember where I read it from, so I can't quote you on it. But it just said, drinking alcohol is like borrowing happiness from tomorrow.
I like that.
That was nice. I think that hit home. Because yeah, you get a serotonin boost, a little bit of a boost. You get a testosterone boost. Everything's feeling good, and then boom, the cortisol comes in the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you're just borrowing happiness from tomorrow. Remember that. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I liked it. But yeah, that's a myth busted. Okay, myth number last one, whatever we were at. You can target fat loss areas. Now that's actually a lot more common back in, my mum and my mother's friends and that
80s.
age group. That used to be huge. I think now more and more people are coming to the understanding that unfortunately can't happen. There's been some studies in terms of manipulating hormones. Through that you can target it, but it's far-fetched. But yeah, what's the best plan of attack, and what's the advice you have to people? Say, hey Robin, this here just underneath,
It cracks you up, the
underneath my
finger
arms.
wings, eh?
Yeah, these wings. I just want to get rid of those. So if you can target the fat over here, please, and a little bit on over here. If you give me an exercise, Robin, please give me an exercise so I can get rid of this little handle here.
Unfortunately, to those individuals that want that spot reduction, the quick answer is no. And the reason is that the body doesn't dictate fat loss distribution. Everybody's different. Everybody stores fat differently. Everybody distributes and loses fat differently as well. So the general take-home message is that you're going to go on this fat loss journey.
Just wait until the AI listens to everything we say.
You're going to go on this fat loss journey, and your fat will distribute its loss however it sees fit. And that's how you're going to be taking on the spot reduction, is that you're going to lose fat from all over, okay? And it will come off places faster than others. And then if you want to have that shape underneath, like we've already talked about, is that you're going to have to tone those areas. So I guess you could say you could put muscle on different areas. So if you want the bingo wings diminished, is that you're going to go through your fat loss journey. So training appropriately, and then you're going to be eating in accordance to fat loss. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to tone the back of the arms, then you may do various exercises that's going to target the back of the arms. And that is just the answer. There is no easy shortcut to toning and flattening the stomach, or pulling up the glutes, or getting rid of the back wings, or the love handles on the back where the dress or the singlet will cut in. It's just, unfortunately, you will just have to go through the process like every other person that is on a fat loss journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the truth, right? So the importance of that is just to be consistent, trust the process, and the other part of it is be happy with your body and the way it is and where it decides to store the fat and everything like that. Look, some people are, that's the truth, genetically gifted, whether it's males or females, and they just seem to store the fat in all the right places where it can be sort of hidden, and it's just fits in well where it's for males, for example, if you're storing it a little bit in the lower back area and the stomach is flat, it just has a better appearance, and that's genetic, And for females, if you're storing it in the hips, in the back, or in the breast region, and you've got that hourglass, again, that is just thank the Lord for what He gave you. But the important thing is to be blessed with what you have, and be consistent to try to perfect and have the best version of your body out on display for people to see. Yeah. So that's the most important take-home message on that. What that is, you can't choose, and I wish you can. And yeah, just got to be consistent and be happy, be blessed with what you have.
Yep.
Not many people do have what you have. Yeah.
No, I think those are the common myths and fallacies of today.
Yeah.
And then if you have any more that you want us to cover, please comment or get hold of us via social media or even send us an email. And then we can just have a look and give our opinion and what the literature says, and we'll compile it and bring it all together for you guys.
Absolutely. And we hear from them time and time again. Every now and then we'll hear something. Oh, is this the right thing? Or is this food good for you? Does this aid in fat loss or whatever it may be? So you'll hear a lot of things. And general rule of thumb is if you are hearing things like that, do your own research as well and have a look. And don't just like look into social media and things like that. Look into some articles, proper articles that have been published with people who have done quite a bit of study around that area, just to be a little bit more aware of what's happening and around you. Because a lot of the times you hear specific things and they spread like wildfire. And another one I heard the other day was the gua sha tool. I don't know if you know what a gua sha tool is, but they've been selling it now for shaping the jawline and trying to somehow smudge and get a leaner and firmer jawline. Whether it's losing your, I don't know what it is. If it's they think it's going to target fat loss in this area, where some people store fat just underneath the chin. But then that picked up and people started buying it, and a few of my clients went ahead and bought it as well. And yeah, so it's very easy. Marketing campaigns can be very clever at how they can target your insecurities and then pin them down and try to get a result out of it and make money out of it. So yeah, if it's too good to be true, it's probably, you're probably right. You know, it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put in the work.
Yeah.
Like everything else in your life that's generated success, put the work in.
Yeah.
Reap the benefits.
Reap the benefits.
Yeah.
All right. I think we wrap up here. Thank you. Stay safe out there, guys. And we'll be back shortly with a new podcast for you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Peace out.
Are you trying to make this a challenge? Holy hiccup.